Realm of Satan is a portrait of the Church of Satan made in collaboration with the leadership and membership of the Church of Satan. And it's a picture of the church as it exists today.
We've done so many documentaries over the years, and sometimes they're done by people that we know, and other times they're done with people with agendas that are hidden, so we can never really quite tell what's going to come out of those experiences. But with Scott, he approached us by showing us his film Buffalo Juggalos, which is a portrait of an unusual culture that was near where he lived. And by seeing that, I really was convinced that this is somebody who could do an actual portrait of us rather than some kind of didactic documentary, which has just been done to death.
You know, when I approach the film, I approach it as a magical object, actually. And in a way, I consider the film to be a psychodrama or a product of ritual. So we've entered into a contract in making the film and in watching the film that everything that happens in the film is we're choosing to believe, whether or not it's a choice. We have the contract. Yes, it exists. So whether that be totally VFX magical, or whether that be somebody washing the dishes, those things are both equally valid, both equally real. And, of course, everything in the film is staged, but drawn from reality. All the locations are real. All the people are real Satanists, but, we work together to kind of pull it away a bit from just being documentary, because just a straight documentary is not very interesting to me. So we want to add fictional and magical and fantastical elements to everything. So everything is kind of flattened into the same world of, a space that isn't a space, your average non-Satanist could access, maybe.
Well, there's something also very interesting in that in satanic ritual, since we're not devil worshippers, we don't believe in the devil, our rituals are not worship services. They are psychodramas, which is why he said that. And what we do is we suspend our disbelief when we create a ritual. That's why we can say, "Hail Satan." We don't believe Satan exists. So it ends up being this kind of very fulfilling self-theater that can be purgative, exciting, enlightening. It's cathartic.
Well, the interesting thing is it's sort of a reconciliation. The way Anton LaVey conceived of Satanism was that it's basically rational, but it's also indulgent. The history and the context in which he was exposed to it and the way he evoked it into the world in the Satanic Bible and started the Church of Satan was to say, okay, well, there's a rational part of humans and then there's a poetic side of humans. And that's what Scott's film really brings about, I think, is the power of film to evoke, to suspend that disbelief and walk in. It's an experiential film. You give yourself over to when you experience fiction. You make a contract that, okay, you're going to startle me, you're going to shock me, you're going to intrigue me. And that's the best of filmmaking. And that's, what Satanism's really all about, is creating your life almost as an art piece itself. And that's exciting. And I think that's what you'll see in the film.
Our philosophy is really strongly concerned with individualism, your individual expression of who you really are. So you are creating that. So you are therefore self-created. You are your own God. And within the realm of, the law and societal pressures, and, to that extent, we do what we will. We do our will. And it's a lifelong discovery of individual expression. It's very important to us.
One of the things I loved most about Satanism and working with these guys is that Satanism has an innate sense of humor to it. And we shared a sense of humor, I think, also, and also a sense of kind of a love of old movie magic and things like that. But that idea that, yes, it's a rational religion, it doesn't believe in Satan, but we can still have fun with these ideas. And actually, we like the aesthetics of this, and we like the iconography, and we can still like this stuff and, kind of party with that and be provocative with that, but, not believe in the devil as like this guy who's talking, I'm saying to us, to Satanists. They don't believe the devil is communicating to them. That's not a correct thing. Yeah, but it's fun to, it's fun to watch The Exorcist. It's fun to play with that iconography and to embrace it and to live within it.
Well, there never seems to be a choice for the Satanists that I've met. It's something that comes out of them naturally. It's their natural predilection. They never made that choice to be on the edge. They just were there. That's where they always put themselves. And using the metaphor of Satan is the perfect thing for them. I've had members, I've asked them, what would you do if we had this whole philosophy and this entire framework, but we just took Satan away? Because it makes people uncomfortable, and they immediately say, I'd quit. Because the symbol of Satan puts them exactly where they are in terms of the greater Christian, organized, religious hierarchy, mindset, self-sacrifice, self-denial. They are the opposite of that, and that is why Satan is the perfect symbol for them.
And I think also, one of the reasons why we worked so well together is that the to take a position as a Satanist is to take an adversarial position. Actually, it's to stand against the tide, and the film is also staking that position as a film. It's an adversarial film in a lot of ways. It's not a standard documentary. It will maybe make some people uncomfortable or angry, and that's totally by design. So, and it's something I'm very proud of. Our ethos is connected,
And Satanism is not for everybody, nor is it intended to be. As you say, it's difficult to live a life of self-reflection and challenge for yourself and not just swallow the pap that's been pre-digested and spat out for you, from society to feed you. But you want to walk your own path. The left-hand path is a very individual one. And we've been around for almost 60 years. And the people that we've seen grow through Satanism and achieve through Satanism and fully credit it for focusing their life and challenging them. And it's very solitary. And yet it can be so richly rewarding.
And there are Satanists in so many walks of life. Like, that's one of the things that the film shows, a lot of different professions that Satanists might be involved with. But Satanists are not required to stand up for Satanism or to tell anybody they're a Satanist, because their life could be ruined by that. So, you don't get to be the president of the PTA if you run around wearing a sigil of Baphomet, but you could make an awesomely good one if you tuck that Baphomet. And our people do that. So they're in police departments, in the military, they teach. They're in cooking schools. They are everywhere. And they do everything they do, they try to do to their very best ability.
Generally in the workplace, why should that come up in discussions of politics or in discussions at school? Why does that even, we find it creates more division than talking about good recipes or, maybe fashion or movies, coming full circle.
I think the movie is really conceived of as an experience. It's kind of a thing that I want audiences to come into the theater and not be ready for, and then kind of confronted by. When I think of the movie, I think of that old Maxell tape commercial where the guy turns on the music and his hair just goes back, and that's kind of the experience I want people to have. I think for me, it would be just a dream to have as much theatrical distribution as possible, just because it's a big screen movie for sure. It's not a movie. I don't want to say it's not a small screen movie, but it's a big screen movie. It's a visual movie. It's visual storytelling. It's a movie that I think gives a lot of visual pleasure. So to kind of restrict that to a small screen feels a bit of a shame to me. So I hope a lot of people can get a chance to see it big and with an audience. I also love the idea that, I love the idea that it could just start showing up at midnight, in Topeka, Kansas, for 3 years or something, you know, and have an audience that just comes, you know, that's like my real dream, you know, and, you know, secretly shared on file servers, but, you know, that's not good for making money. But, you know, I just that like, that's this secret thing that just gets passed around. I kind of love that idea.